Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So this is an update on the setups from yesterday, and also a few things I forgot to talk about. First thing that came to my mind was NZD-USD. So I actually had a short order on NZD-USD, which I completely forgot to talk about. So let's go over that trade very quickly. So there's the trigger. So we have a clean break and hold below the last week's low and a downtrend from the previous week. So we short any pullback to the upside. So we shorted this region, which acted as a support area, local support area on Friday. And yeah, so that's pretty standard stuff in my opinion. Nothing much. Break below the previous week's low, go towards the 1.2x extension upon trigger of the weekly open. Okay. Now, are we going to hold on to this trade? Yes. It doesn't look very good because it is grinding into your stop. So it doesn't look very good. But then again, I don't see why it cannot hit target. Or rather, I don't see why it cannot go down. I mean, one of the reasons you could say could be the last month's low, right? Could deviate off of last month's low and then, go for a high, maybe take that high out and then drop. Yes, that's fine too. But we rely on our weekly open triggers. So the weekly open trigger was very simple. We have a local high, okay. Then we have a clean low, okay. Low there and a clean low, follow through after that and a hold below the previous week's low. And target was not hit. You can see that the market baited the 1.2x fib level. Since the target was not hit, we are going to short any pullback to the upside. The pullback is very unpleasant. Okay, generally you want a pullback, something like this and then a sharp move down. But this pullback more or less looks like it is eating into the short orders above. Now, if it completely eats into it and moves away, makes a high, or just drops off, let's leave that to the market. Okay. Another interesting thing I want to talk about is how our perspective on EG has changed since yesterday. Have a look at the EG chart. Okay. So if you remember correctly, or let's assume that you have a goldfish memory and we go there. So the trigger on EG was very simple. Since the market broke below this low, okay, since we had a low, I wanted a bleed there before shorting the breakdown candle. Okay, so you can see that a bit of a bleed needed here as an additional trigger. That's what I said. We did not have that bleed. Okay, we did not get that bleed. Market immediately reversed, and as a result of that, we did not place any short orders. And yes, we were correct in not doing so because the market has indeed taken out our stop. The hypothetical stop has been taken, and now we've made a higher high. Now, in terms of the H4 price action, right? How does this look? Have a look at this. So it looks like this was the range high, or rather this is the range high, this is the range low. We expected the price to go all the way towards the range low. It has not, and it has traveled back towards the range high. Now, if you remember correctly, I was calling this a deviation. Now, look how my perspective has now changed based on this price action. I will now say that this deviation was a range break attempt, and this downward move is a full reset of that range. So when it comes to ranges, right, you treat them like this. So there's the anchor, there's the base, right? Market trades between them. Sometimes tries to go and break out above the range and fails, right? Goes towards the range low. That's when we call that as a deviation. Sometimes what happens is that the market does a clean break, okay, starts to follow through and then immediately sells off, only to get bought off above the range low and go and make a high. So in that case, I just call that a range high break reset. That is just a phrase I came up with to explain this phenomenon. Okay, so in this case, I would say it's now a high probability that this breakout was indeed a breakout and this was just a reset. Okay, market did not hit the range lows. Okay, it did not cleanly hit the range lows, and it has reversed and is now sort of trying to go back above the range high again. So if it breaks and closes above the range high, I would assume that this was a break and EG is probably going to go to the upside. Now, what confirmed it, or rather not confirmed it, but what made me think about it this way is one, the price action obviously, because we said that we needed a clean bleed below and then a sell off. It didn't happen. Instead, we got a high. Okay. But what actually made me think about it was the Ichimoku. This is where Ichimoku is very, very effective, right? If you want to wait for concrete triggers, you might want to rely on Ichimoku. So on Ichimoku, our trigger would have made it look like that bleed trigger would have made it look like this. So we would have a close below the daily Kumo, and then we could short the Kijun above and sell off. Instead, the close that we got was a SFP that took away all the liquidity below the Kumo, and now it's grinding to the upside. Highly likely that this market pushes towards the Kumo base, the flat Kumo base above. Since it is red, we call it SSB. It is full form is Senko span B. Okay, so we now expect a move up towards the Senko span B. We now have a updated pathway for EG. So we now have an updated pathway for EG. Since we have that bait and a buyback inside, I expect the market to go to the upside and hit that SSP. Even have a Kumo breakout if possible. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, but for now the short bets are off on EG. We'll wait for some price action. So either we wait and see a rejection from the range high and a sell-off, or we see a close above the range high, which is when we target that upside. Okay, let's wait. So this is one important thing that I wanted to talk about. I know if anybody is watching this, or if anybody has made it this far, you might think that, okay, that's not important and it looks very complicated, but this kind of a perspective change midweek, or this kind of a bias change midweek, is very, very crucial. It is very, very crucial to the health of your overall trading sort of journey, career, or just your trading portfolio. Okay, you need to adapt. What else do I want to talk about? I already gave you my reasons to not short AUD USD, right? We thought that could just be a deviation and the market could be holding on to the last month's low. Crypto, again, not interested in crypto. Do not really understand what's going on with the price action. Okay, so let's leave it on its own. EG will wait for some price action. And NZD is the only asset currently we are trading. There's one asset that we talked about yesterday. I'll go over that again because it has presented us with a new trigger. So that is CAD. Okay, that's it. I'll call that a local deviation. I don't really care, whatever you call it. There's the high that created the low, right? It was giving an impression that the market wants to go lower. What did the market do? Made a high. Not only that, if that was your high, then this becomes your high low, because the market has there made a high. So again, we go with the ABC pattern. In this case, let's choose our A to be this low. So that's A, B, and that's C. Okay, C is a high, and C also has a confirmation high up there. In that case, we expect the market to completely hold on to A, and so we can expect these lows to get taken, but the market should not go there. And we have these bids already placed, so no need to go over them at our terminal. But that is how the trade would look like. Why have I not placed a PNL tool there? So trade would look like this. I think the PNL tool has been placed on this template. Yes. So we are indeed going to modify our bid. Okay. So the entry is now there, and somewhere around there is our stop. I don't think we should get stopped out even if we place our stops there, but just be careful with it. Expect a full break, but right now we'll just settle with the highs getting taken. But I really don't see any issue with this trade. I think it's a very good setup. Now again, based on very sort of textbook definition of my strategy, I shouldn't be taking a trade because again, target has been hit, right? Or rather, we have a close below the last week's low. Why are we going for a long, right? We should be shorting there. Yes, but you just go technically, or you just go by the textbook, that's correct. But again and again, I've told you guys that we have a pivotal region there. Okay, so that's a key pivotal region. Okay, you can see that market took out that low, right? Because this low was responsible for the final break of the USD CAD consolidation. Market comes in, takes out that low, bang, high there on the H4. Let me show you a bit more clearly. So there's a low getting taken. There's the high. There's the consolidation which we need. Any pullback in this region is a buy, definitely. With the market holding on to this white candle low. I think that's a great setup. Works out or not, let's leave that again to the market. No worries. No worries. Okay. So that will be it for this video. I just wanted to keep it short because really there's nothing else to go over. We are not interested in S&P or Nasdaq. Now let's see if I actually had a setup yesterday. Not. This is from previous week. This is 27 March. So again, I was asking you guys that, or rather I was telling you guys that I do not know a way to go long on this, and I cannot see a way to go long on this. So we just left it where it was, and I am glad we did it. Or rather, I'm glad I did it because you can see the market is completely sold off. On Nasdaq, we had a clean trigger, which did not trigger, and well, we did not place any order, and the trade is now gone. Okay, sorry, the asset's now gone down. So I'll go over this trigger in depth in the end of week remarks video, because this would be again looked at, because this was one of the trades that I was looking to go long on, but really couldn't find a trigger. So I, drew this, and it didn't play out. So we left it like that. We left it where it was, and we can indeed see that the triggers helped us not get into a bad trade. Apart from that, looking something like this for oil, not really gonna take it. Nothing in there. So only thing I'm interested in is these two currencies. So NZD CAD and EG if it plays out. Okay, if it plays out. Apart from that, I think that's it. More of this in end of week remarks video. I would now probably see you there. Bye bye, take care.